Happy Monday. You know, I was telling my wife the other day, I'm watching the whole thing with Zelensky and them, and I said, you know what it is? It's an intervention. It's an intervention. It's what it is. He is addicted to all the stuff. He's addicted to he's addicted to the feeling like he's you too. He's a rock star everywhere. He's addicted to the power, to the money, to all of the things. It's an intervention. The guy needs to have an intervention on the stuff that you can't do anymore because you're not going to be it. He loves it. He loves the fact that he's a rock star. He loves the fact that everywhere he goes, he gets all of the stuff, right? The cheers, the adulation. Everybody loves him. He loves that. I would too. Man, the world loves you, right? You're standing up to a dictator. And let's be real. Well, he might be, Trump calls him a dictator. He's not a dictator like Putin, right? He's not, I wouldn't worry about eating on the second floor with him. Putin, I'd have a little issue with. Just a smidge. Want a cup of tea? No, I don't want a cup of tea, ever, from you.
Need to borrow an umbrella?
No, I don't want an umbrella. I don't want anything. In fact, I don't even want to be here because I'm afraid I'm going to go wash my hands, dry the hands on the towels, and get radiation poisoning. Like, that's Putin. Different world. But, man, this guy loves all the stuff. He loves being a rock star. It's an intervention. Dude, you're addicted to the money. You're addicted to the stuff. You're addicted to the flights, the planes, the going everywhere, and everybody cheers you. You're addicted to all the things. I don't care what anybody says. So that's what it is. It's the human nature side of stuff. Who wouldn't be? You're the Churchill, you think in your mind, of today. But somewhere along the line, you've lost the plot for sure.
Zelensky over the weekend said that nobody wants peace more than he and the Ukrainians. They want to see an end to the fighting, that they're fighting for the survival of their country, but that the key thing for Ukraine right now is getting security guarantees about what happens next after a peace agreement, that they cannot be at risk of another invasion and threat from Russia.
Which is totally fine. We can all agree. I don't want him to invade again. We need this thing to come to an end. We do. He spoke a little bit earlier. Did himself a TikTok, if you will, because, again, he's hip.
I'm
grateful to President Trump for his sincere interest in our common opportunities, in how we can bring real peace together. It was a long conversation. We discussed many nuances, diplomatic, military, economic, and President Trump informed me of what Putin had told him. We believe that America's strength is enough to push Russia and Putin to peace together with us, together with all our partners.
We should want peace. Too many people have died. The struggle is too real there. They do not have the thing that matters most in a war of attrition, manpower. We can give them all the weapons we want, but if nobody can pull the trigger, it doesn't matter. And I said it again. Look, is there ways of doing diplomacy? That was as much for everybody else as it was for Zelensky. He was agitated. He wouldn't shut up. The only thing you need to do is bring a pen and sign that thing. We're not going to blow up our business in your country. But you want American boots on the ground, it ain't going to happen. And if the Brits want to play the game, knock yourself out. I've said this all along. Dude, I don't care if you guys fight to every last person. I just don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay for it. And you guys have already done enough. You've showed everybody they're a paper tiger. You've showed everybody that you guys are badass. You guys stood there. I mean, you deserve all the respect. I don't care what kind of weapons you have. The fact that you were out there doing it, the fact that you were out there fighting it, that somebody needs to do that. But it's over. And it's time to move on. It's over. And the Europeans are like, well, we're going to have a coalition. We're going to put it all together, but we still need America.
We must proceed with strength. And that does now require urgently a coalition of the willing.
Oh, a coalition of the willing. That's Keir Starmer there. Coalition of the willing. Okay. So how does the world feel about this? Well, the Europeans have a lot more worry than we do when it comes to this. We're not worried about Russia invading us. We're not. We got our own issues here. But even here, There's no doubt. People are looking around saying, hey, okay, it was okay for a while, but while is up, and it's time to look around, and you're not as popular as you once were.
Holy Toledo. Look at this trend line here. U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. Back when the war began, back in February of 2022, it was just 7%. Up like a rocket ship. My goodness. Up now in February of 2025 to 41%. And the clear majority of Republicans, and of course Republicans are in charge of the U.S. government now, 62% of Republicans say that the U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. What a difference from just 3 years ago. I can remember all those backyards in the United States with those Ukrainian flags. Far fewer of them today, as Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
It's not about, and this is not about the Ukrainian people, it's not about the Russian people. Okay, we don't want to see more war. This is business. Business, you know what? In the world that they live in, you're going to do business with people that may not be the best people to do business with in your life. But on the global side, it's what you got to do. We do business every day with China. China's awful. They have 2 million people enslaved. The Uyghurs, 2 million of them enslaved. Probably making you some socks right now. That's what they have, 2 million people. And that's just a group of people. You think about all of the other stuff that they do. Yet we do business with them. Why wouldn't we want to do business with Russia and maybe drive a wedge or make it neutral for them in China and Iran? It's just business. But this business is about peace as much as anything else. My goodness me. Well, they don't care. And again, it's not about whether or not you care about these people. I don't want to see anybody die. It is awful to watch. It is horrible. I have seen too much of it. But it's time for everybody to go, all right, we got to do something else. We got to move on.
Feelings towards Zelensky have changed also dramatically. Look at this. Confident Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Back in 2022, it was the clear majority, 72% through the floor. Through the floor by 2024, just 48% of Americans say that they're confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. And GOP confidence has also plummeted dramatically. Now the clear majority of Republicans are not confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs.
And the thing to do is to step away. It's time. Dude, you can go win your Nobel Peace Prizes all day or whatever they've got out there for you. You can go get some sort of humanitarian Nelson Mandela Man of the Year. I don't know, the NFL Man of the Year, whatever they want to give you. You can travel around the world, right? You can do Q&As for $1 million. You can still have all of the stuff, all of the trappings of the things you have now. It's not going to have the power. And your country will always look back at you gratefully. You're the guy who led us through, et cetera, et cetera. Great. Great. And that's what you should want. It was an intervention, and you've got to go, right? You got to get into therapy. You got to get away from this. It's enough. It is. And it sucks that we still have to have these conversations because this thing should have been put to bed a long time ago. But as much as it's an intervention for him, we have to have an intervention with some of our biggies here. Because they're also addicted to money, and war is good money. War is good for business. War puts food on the table for a lot of people, and a lot of donors know that. So what happens? Well, we've got a bit of an addiction too. Just like we have an addiction to oil and drugs and the whole 9 yards, we got all kinds of addiction to money. And that right there is a big reason why the establishment pushes so hard. But the American people, and that's where it's really at, the American people said we've had enough. It's what Biden worried about in 2022. He talked about on a phone call, they get into a scrap, if you will, with Zelensky and him over, he acted like a child, right? Because I got a 6-year-old. I know what it's like. She gets something new, and about 2 minutes later, she wonders when she gets her next new doll. What about this one? What about that one? I want this. What about that? That's what he was like.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. So in this conversation, President Biden called President Zelensky to tell him about a roughly $1 billion package of additional equipment and weapons for the Ukrainian military coming from the United States. During the course of the call, President Zelensky continued, according to a number of officials who we spoke with who are familiar with the call, President Zelensky continued to talk about the additional equipment and weapons and support that he and his military needed. According to these officials, they said that President Biden finally just got frustrated and lost his temper and told President Zelensky, look, you could be a little bit more grateful. The reason that this story is interesting to us and is something that we are reporting on and officials are speaking to us about is because it shows that all these months ago, President Biden already realized that there was going to be a point where the American people, members of Congress, where people would start potentially pushing back on all these billions and billions of dollars of aid and equipment that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine. And he knew that the narrative out there needed to be that the Ukrainian people and President Zelensky were grateful for it if this was the support.
And they are. But it's time to go. And thank you for the fight, and thank you for killing Russians and fighting them on the battlefield. It's all of us time to move on. And we have spent a lot of money, and you've spent a lot of life. And it's time for us to move on. We have a massive debt problem. We have a massive spending problem. We have all kinds of issues that need to be shored up here. And I'm not saying we don't take care of our allies. I'm not saying we don't take care of our friends. But at some point in time, have you heard the saying before? There's no reason to throw good money after bad money. We don't need to continue to throw money at something that the outcome is not going to change. The outcome is Russia gets a little bit more than they started with. Ukraine has to rebuild, but they'll have some peace. They'll have some safety. Everybody moves on with their life. We get some minerals from both Russia and them, and we go from there. It's not a bad deal. It isn't. But the one holding it up, no matter what he says, is him. And as much as people think he's a warmonger, no, he's an ego machine. This guy thinks he is Bono, right? Like, short of wearing sunglasses everywhere and a weird hat, he's got this sense of rock stardom that is tremendous. I mean, it's crazy. So it's time for everybody to take a deep breath and go, you need to leave, Bono. All right, go on tour somewhere else. Could you imagine the amount of money they would give him, right, Ken? I mean, the amount of money. This is so much of what it's about. The outfits, the look. Yep. It's all presented in such a way. He's got a stylist for this.
Well, and he was an entertainer in his previous
life, he gets
too.
it. Like, much like Trump, he understands.
He's very Reagan-esque in the sense that he knows how to play to an audience.
Oh, big time. Oh, big time. And he plays well, by the way. He gets that. So 100%. So, but it is time. It is time for him to go, and it's time for us to move on and to spend money elsewhere, because we still have an issue in the Middle East that isn't getting done anytime soon, and that thing could fall apart within the next few hours, because Israel's like, we're not going to give you guys any more food because you've kept none of your promises. And then all the aid companies are like, oh, my God, they're not giving food. So let this nightmare continue. All right, coming up, a lot of stuff to get to today, including, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, NOAA. No, that's not a guy's name. The NOAA, not Noah the dude with the floods, not him. Different NOAA. This one has to do with the whole climate. Yeah, they're having a big walkout today, and it is spectacularly hilarious.
Really?
Oh, God, it's great. Well, the ones who still have jobs. Because some of them don't have jobs anymore, and they're upset.
You would think after that first round of layoffs, people would be like, oh, man, I'm glad I still have a gig.
Yep. Nope. He's coming back. We're going to talk a little bit about Elon, because that got just totally ignored because of what took place with Trump, right? That sucked the oxygen out of the room the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Talk about that. And the weirdest, creepiest way to have sight returned. It is so creepy. Plus my Oscar picks. How did I do? Let's just say, crushed it. Talk about that, bunch of other stuff. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Kids, madness of March has arrived. Are you ready for it? Basketball season full swing. Are you ready to play the best way to win and to win big. And that's with Prize Picks. So Prize Picks is not like anything out there that you've seen. It is not about choosing teams or spreads. It's about points. It's about goals. It's about all of the things that you would think, well, it's over-unders on your favorite players. Like, will LeBron score 25 points in his next game? Maybe. Will Steph Curry hit 6 3-pointers? Over-under? Maybe. You choose and you put your lineup out there and away you go. Your first time you join, so you go there and you can download the Prize Picks app. Then you use my code Chad. When you play your first one, and it only has to be $5, you get $50 instantly, regardless of win or loss. It's that simple. You don't have to win. $50 instantly right into your account, so you can gamble, play even more. You can bet a little bit more here, a little bit more there, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Go now. Prize Picks. It's simple and easy. It takes about 60 seconds to set up, and away you go. Go check it out for yourself. Download the app. Use my code Chad. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5. That simple. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21, present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Just got an update on the condition of Pope Francis. He is definitely not out of the woods yet. These stories and more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Uh-oh. Is it bad?
Poping ain't easy.
Poping ain't easy. It's never been
not
easy, by the way.
Just ask Big Daddy Kane.
That's right. Poping ain't easy. Man, that is crazy. I wonder if we're soon to see. I mean, how much longer do they did they have like a fill-in pope? How does that work?
I don't know, man.
Well, the Pope Emeritus, the guy that resigned, he's still around. Maybe he can fill in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that works. Like if they have I don't want to say part-time pope, but you know what I mean. You know, like a guy that comes in and does all the stuff, kind of.
Surely they do.
You would think, right? You would think.
Let's see.
That's a great question, though.
Who takes over if the Pope passes away?
Do they just wait?
It is handed over to the College of Cardinals.
Oh, the COC.
The COC.
Man, the COC's bad news. You don't mess with them.
Especially, watch the conclave.
Well, absolutely. Well, you know what? They're the Spanish Inquisition right there. You're not messing with those guys.
Pretty much.
They will come crush your souls. By the way, NOAA, we're going to get in a little deeper here. They're out on like a protest.
The National Oceanic Atmospheric Association?
That's it. They're out. They're upset because people are being laid off, and they want to know this.
Can you sing?
Can I sing? Well, guys, we got a new one for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah! Can you clap? Yeah!
Here we go.
This joy. These are the lyrics.
Here's the listen to the lyrics, guys. Listen to the By the way, I may have added some lyrics at the end.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world can't take it away. Very simple.
Okay, once again.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world can't take it away. Very simple. Sing with us.
Here we go. By the way, I think they stole this from a 1971 commercial.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me.
It is. I am watching some of the wacky protests out there today, and it is the most spectacular thing. It is. What are you guys doing again? First of all, obviously, all of you are here protesting, so none of you need your jobs. I just want to make sure. And listening to a few of them over the weekend talk about their jobs and the self-importance of the jobs that they have is tremendous. I mean, I'm under no illusion. Look, if this business, I always tell everybody, Rush Limbaugh, was he not replaceable? Well, apparently he was. Everybody's replaceable. Do you think Michael Jordan finished basketball? It's like, whoa, never going to have basketball again. No. It's always something next. But listening to these people just today, can you guys sing? Yeah, I don't want to. Right, they're all out there. And by the way, not a one of them ever voted for Trump. Ever. In the history of ever. They got every kind of flag you can talk about. Oh, and it's man, the hatred of Elon is growing every day. And so he even talked about it this weekend, or it was Friday, but the whole thing with Friday, there was something else that had happened. This guy named, Zelensky went sideways. But Trump and Elon, while dominating the news cycle, Elon has been, quite frankly, the one I think the most ire has come at. And which I've said for quite a while that it's a win for Trump, man. Those arrows are slinging to Elon, and he talked about it.
But I think if I fully destroy the corruption and the graft, they will kill me.
That's a up thing to live with.
Yes. So I'm like, damn it.
Well, listen, I really hope they don't kill you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I strive to be alive.
Yeah. I mean, he's that. Luckily for him, from what I understand, he has enough money to afford quite a unit.
Yeah. He's probably got the best out there.
Oh, he's got, how many retired Mossad agents do you think he has?
Exactly.
Yeah. He doesn't he doesn't have run of the mill, I mean, you may have been a great military, but he's got like Mossad agents, top of the line, SEALs, recon guys.
Delta Force and all those guys that
ninjas. He hired ninjas. Went to Japan, found 4 or 5 ninjas that were still around.
He may have Chuck Norris.
He may. Yeah, you don't want that. You step at Elon. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think about his kids, too? His kid, all 40. Would he have another kid this weekend, too? Is that what I saw?
Yeah. The 4th by his neurological partner. He's working on that stimulating the brain for people.
Sounds like he's working on other things.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's single-handedly handling depopulation.
He is. My goodness me. Around those people, too, the amount of, because we were talking about it earlier, the amount of protection that they have to have is insane. I remember when I was playing soccer over in England, we went on trial, kind of like a loan deal to Windsor and Eton, and that's where the boys were stationed at the time, William and Henry. William and Harry. And to see the amount of people that were like Secret Service everywhere was crazy. It's nuts. Yeah. So imagine what these kids like with $400 billion and the fact that your dad's now the most hated man in America for whatever reason. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about that hate. We got a bunch of other stuff to get to today, including my awesome picks. And we'll see how we did on the Razzies as well. Both Bell and I think did okay on the Razzies, but man, when it came to the Oscars, winner chicken dinner. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still tracking the potential for severe weather tomorrow in Middle Tennessee. We'll tell you more about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Just got an update on the condition of Pope Francis. Reuters reporting the Vatican out with a statement that the 88-year-old pontiff had 2 episodes of acute respiratory insufficiency, which is basically he wasn't able to breathe on his own earlier today. At least 2 people are dead, several others injured following a suspected car ramming in Germany. Police in Germany say one person's under arrest, but they're not sure about what the motive is. President Trump's national security advisor Mike Waltz says the U.S. welcomes Europeans taking the lead on their own security, like European Council President Antonio Costa, announcing a special session this week on European defense capabilities.
We welcome the efforts from President Trump to push Russia for a negotiation. And we are willing to participate in all the negotiation.
Yeah, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the United Kingdom, France, and allies will work closely with Ukraine on a plan to stop the fighting in Russia, with Russia that is, and then discuss directly with the United States. Firefighters in the Carolinas battling at least 175 wildfires, the fast-moving flames threatening homes and prompting evacuations. South Carolina's fire marshal saying 4,200 acres have already been scorched. Stephanie Ramos is in Myrtle Beach, where the governor's declared a state of emergency.
Many of the residents were evacuated yesterday, but have been allowed back in this area and surrounding neighborhoods. But authorities are urging them to stay alert and stay cautious.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Guess what, guys? Busy Bee Plumbing is here to help you. Just in case things get a little south when it comes to your plumbing, your heating, your air, they got you handled across the board. How about this? You want a new HVAC? Well, first of all, when you do that, you go with Busy Bee. Right away, first and foremost, sign up for the famous Beehive Club. But secondly, after you get your discount and everything, you sign up, you're rocking and rolling, you're going to get your AC, they're going to put in, it's going to be awesome. They're going to give you free air duct cleaning. Right there. So they're going to go through and make sure everything's perfect right there. And if you want that's a whole home package. But let's just say you just want to buy a package of air duct cleaning. They've got that. And you buy the middle package and you get the top package at no extra cost. It's that simple. Top of plumbing. My goodness me. You want somebody to come out and handle it, whether it's repipe, maybe looking at your main line because you got stuff backed up. They are going to deliver. Busy Bee delivers time and time again, from tankless conversions, which are cool. You get $250 off. A whole home smart shutoff valve as well. And that's a $250 value. But on top of that, we all know that plumbing can be a nightmare. And that's one thing, man. You can go a day without a little electricity or something. Even if it's hot, you can go like, I'll wait a couple days. Plumbing, you're not. You need this done. They're going to put you at the top of the list, especially when you join the famous Beehive Club. Call Busy Bee today. 775-7833, 775-7833, and join the famous Beehive Club, or visit them online at busybeehvac.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Elon was on with Rogan. I was really looking forward to it. I got through a decent amount. It's 3 hours long. That's a long time. But one of the things that he talked about was obviously Social Security. And I've talked about this for years. If anybody in the private sector did what they do in the public sector with this, you would go to jail for a thing called a Ponzi scheme. And he brought that up. And, of course, NBC had to freak out about it. And Kristen Welker. And, of course, Bernie Sanders. You know how he does?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I know. Do you know how you do, Bernie? You freak out? You get all the Democrats to freak out?
Yes, we do.
Fantastic.
Well, let me ask you about Social Security. And you raised Elon Musk, Senator, so let me follow up with you on this very point, because he's made some very pointed comments about Social Security. I referenced it earlier in the broadcast. This was to Joe Rogan. I'd like you to hear it and get your reaction on the other side. Take a look.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Basically, people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
Senator, President Trump says he's not going to touch Social Security. Elon Musk calls it a Ponzi scheme. Do you agree?
What say you? Well, if you're him, the only way you can ever start out a conversation is he's the richest man in the world. That's the way you do it.
Now, I think what Musk, the wealthiest guy in the world, just said is totally outrageous. That's a hell of a Ponzi scheme when for the last 80 years, Social Security has paid out every nickel owed to every eligible American. Quite a Ponzi scheme. What is, in fact, a problem is that if we don't make reforms and improve the funding mechanism, in the next 9 years, the Social Security Trust Fund, which provides about 20% of the funding, will go broke. So what we have got to do, and I think most Americans agree, and I've just introduced legislation to do that, is you lift the cap on taxable income. Right now, Musk, worth $400 billion, contributes the same amount into the Social Security Trust Fund as somebody making $170 million.
It's always about more, right? Like, that's the number one. Like, how much more can I get? They always talk, who's greedy? Private business is greedy. Business people are greedy. You guys always want more. That's greedy.
There's never a problem that Bernie's run into that's not solved by spending more tax dollars.
Yeah. And what's he talking about even in the middle of it? Oh, and then once we get the money, we need to increase every. Well, hold on a second. I thought it's about balancing, getting to. You're already talking about spending more if you bring in more. We have a spending problem, no doubt.
You lift that cap, we can extend the solvency of Social Security for 75 years, and you can raise benefits. Kristen, right now in America, half of elderly people are trying to get by on $30,000 a year, 22% on $15,000 a year. We've got to raise Social Security benefits. We've got to expand Medicare to include hearing, dental, and vision, not go after these programs which are so important to millions of our seniors.
It's important to a lot of people.
You know what he just said?
What?
Government has failed. We need more government.
We need more government. And in the podcast, and I didn't pull it, but the unfunded liabilities is what you need to look at. Okay, so when somebody says we're $36 trillion in debt, no, we're not. Our unfunded liabilities take us up to about $80 trillion in debt. And while they have covered, by the way, every Ponzi scheme in the world would work if you allow it to go on forever. The problem is the people get into it first, make a lot of money. Secondly, They make okay money. Third, then it starts to get worse, worse, and worse. If you allow it to go on in perpetuity, you'll always be able to figure out a way to get people their money. That's what he's saying. We're not replenishing our population at all. Go look at Greece. Greece got to the point where it was almost 1-to-1, retirees and people working. That is no way to do and their retirement benefits were huge. Massive. France, the same way. By the way, France and Greece, you can retire pretty much at the level, salary-wise, that you were working. And I think France was in the early 50s, and Greece was like 50 or something ridiculous. So what you have is you have nobody's working. So who's paying that? Because imagine today if you had to essentially rely on one person to pay all of your bills, or you were working to cover somebody's bills that's retired.
And didn't Greece's economy collapse?
Collapsed. I mean, died a horrible death. And it's not about we're living longer, right? When France set up their robust system way back in the day, just like when we set up ours, you retired at 62, maybe you made it to 65, maybe, right? You didn't have the same kind of, they weren't trying to keep you alive on the world's most expensive drugs for the last 6 weeks of your life that cost $14 million. France, same thing, right? You retired at 55, maybe lived to 60 at best. Now you retire at 55, you live to 85 in France, and you look around and you've taken way more money than you ever contributed. We can't have that here.
This is a perfect example of how government does not ever bother to look at the results of the unintended consequences that they impose with these kind of programs.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You have to think, okay, well, what do we do? Well, first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have an honest conversation with the younger generation. You're going to have to pay in more, and you might get less. Or give them the opportunity to move into a 401k of some sort, a privatized 401k or whatever it is, to put that money into places where they can't touch it until they're a certain age, and it's locked in there, and their employers have to contribute a little bit of it. Because this isn't going to work. But see, the thing is, government will never do that. Government never wants to give the opportunity for some privatized because they need the money to pay for all the other stuff. And there is a lot of stuff. We've talked about just paying for the debt is now equal or greater than our military. And nobody comes close to our military. Nobody's even in the same realm as our military. Think about that. So just to cover the bare minimum, it cost us more than it cost to build our military, which is frightening. And I don't expect that to get better anytime soon. And they can run around and they can scream, you're stealing their money, they're doing this. How do you have a conversation with a country, though, that's not willing to have a conversation? Because we have to be honest with ourselves that stuff needs to change. Stuff absolutely needs to change. And yes, the scams that are out there are huge. He talked about that.
There are people like you and the Doge team out there in the world. Imagine if one of those works for an organization like USAID or any other organization and has this understanding of how much is involved, but they have evil intentions. And they're entwined in this system for decades and decades, and they've built a career and all the entanglements that come with it, and they start moving around. You could probably do it easy. It sounds like the way you've laid it out. If you were a career person who's in there forever, who knew how everything works, and you were very clever, you could make some happen. And you could probably do it in conjunction with some people that you know that are forming an NGO. Hey, let's all work together.
Yeah.
And this is the resistance that you're facing.
I think it's the biggest scam of all time.
This is not something you ever sought out to do.
The biggest scam of all time, ever.
Of human history.
Of human history, yes.
Wow. I think you're right.
Yeah.
What else
it's
could
probably
be better?
$1 trillion scam. There's never been $1 trillion scam.
No, there's not. He's talking about all of the other stuff, not the Social Security, which he calls Ponzi scheme. Somebody asked, can you explain unfunded liabilities? So unfunded liabilities are, we owe me, Bell, everybody, we owe Social Security to all of us. There's no money in there for that. There's none. You've got millions of people that are retiring with the gray tsunami coming, and there's no money that is funded for those. So we're going to be taking from other pools of money to try to pay those things down because they're not funded. And we're not going to get them funded. And that goes for Medicare, Medicaid, all of these things. We have enough till today, and then we're going to have to start borrowing more. We're going to have to start selling more. We're going to have to do all of this stuff to try to fund these things, which means we put ourselves further and further in debt to fund stuff because we've made promises to people. And in those promises, we've got to keep them because we're America. Okay, so we go and keep them. Well, what do we do? Well, we're borrowing against the future of the future of the future at this point in time. And so every time you pay into your Social Security or whatever it is, that money doesn't go to some special account for you in the future. They're just hoping and praying that more and more people continue to work to fund your future in the future, if that makes sense. And the grift is real. We all know the grift is. I'm still wondering how much grift they can get out of this. People love their money. People love their free stuff. And, man, the government loves it too. Man, listening to how easy it was to start an NGO, guys, I think we're missing out. I mean, we've got to know. I mean, think about this, right? So between Marcia, between, all of them, right? Like all of these, you got Blackburn out there. We got all of them, we got Birch. We start an NGO and then we have them funnel some money to us. Then we take that, we get ourselves a lobbyist. Then we got all kinds, we don't have to work.
Oh, I'll do the lobbying.
You do the lobby. We don't care what it is. You guys ready for that? Who's ready for it, huh? The Cumulus NGO. Oh, my goodness. Talk a little Oscars last night. Let's see how my picks did. And I think we did okay, Bell. I was looking at our stuff. We did okay for our Razzie picks.
Yeah, I missed a couple of.
Yeah, I did too.
But overall, suck is suck.
Suck is suck. Yeah, that's that. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. It is the Chad Benson Show at Super Talk 99.7. Lean. What is lean? Well, lean is going to help you not go back and forth in the yo-yo world of dieting, which is awful. I have been there. So we all know what yo-yo dieting is. You drop 20, put on 25. Drop 30, put on 35. It's not good for you. Stroke, heart attack, diabetes. It's not good for your body. So let's get away from that. Let's check out lean. Well, lean is incredible. Why don't you go to takelean.com, LEAN.com. And what they're going to do is they're going to send you out there's no prescription, none of this stuff. It's simple. It's easy. It's pills. Take a couple of them a day. It's going to help you break free of the insanity of the yo-yo dieting. And it's because it's based on three things, main things. Science put this together the right way with doctors. It's maintain healthy blood sugar, control appetite and cravings, and this one's the big one, burn fat by converting into energy. So if you're tired of losing weight, then gaining weight, losing weight, then gaining weight, don't. This is the path to sustainable weight loss and keeping it off for good. It's called lean. Take the opportunity to get 20% off now and go to takelean.com. Use code Benson20. That's takelean.com, code Benson20.
European leaders are doing what the Trump administration has pushed since his second term started, and all eyes are on 3 eggs in California. I'll tell you about it at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eagle Watch.
Eagle Watch. Eagle Watch.
That's right. One of those may be Don Henley.
I think you're assuming there. It could be somebody found some chickens that
or
they're going to be able to get some free eggs.
Penguins. Could be. You have no idea, kids. You have no idea.
We should start a band and call ourselves the Penguins.
Let's do it. I love it. Let's do it. Check that. See if there's the Rockin' Penguins. Here we go, kids.
I'm not wearing a tux.
Can't do any. We should all just dress up like penguins. That'd be fantastic. The Oscars were last night.
Oscar Night 2025 saw movie greats honoring an underdog story on and off screen. Anora winning 5 Oscars in all, including Best Picture, and serving up the big night's biggest surprise in Best Actress.
Mikey Madison.
After a strong award season for The Substance's Demi Moore, the Oscar going to Anora's Meteorite of a Leading Lady, 25-year-old Mikey Madison.
Which, by the way, I called. I did. The only one I missed of all of my Oscar stuff was I thought Wild Robot would win the Oscar. And it
Wild Robot?
Yeah, and it was the that was the animated movie. I had everything else right. I did. Did
That's
you
way to go, Brother Chad.
So Anora, by the way, is I call it Tramparella. So it's Pretty Woman with all of the bad naughty bits.
So it's not necessarily a rom-com.
It is. It's a dramedy, they call it.
Gotcha.
So and Mikey Moore plays this like New Yorker, whatever, and she falls for a oligarch's son who's a billionaire, and they get married to Vegas really quick or whatever, and it's off it goes, and it's just this crazy relationship. And I heard it's really good. I don't know. I haven't seen it because it's a movie that I would just, if it would have to be on, I couldn't find the changer.
Now, the actress, she's the one that gets torched at the end
She
of
is
Once
the one,
Upon a
yes.
Time.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, she
I love that scene.
She is so awesome in that.
Yeah, she is, man.
She is. And I remember your powder. I remember your white skin. That's right. Your name's something stupid like Rex Tex. Yeah, that's it. The movie's great, guys. But yeah, she's great. She's a great actress. And, there's a lot of nudity. That's the other thing they talked about last night. The movies with the most nudity, they were 62% more likely to win the Academy Award.
Well, there you go.
So, and then Demi Moore, like you guys said, it wasn't, she may deserve it. That wasn't it, though. That wasn't the movie for her. And so, and I knew that Wicked, I think Wicked, did Wicked win the song? I don't even know. They didn't win anything, man. They struggled. Oh, wait, Zoe Saldana won, which I told you she would.
That's right.
Because they needed to give it to somebody, and they couldn't give it to, the one that pissed off George Floyd's ghost. Gascon.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. Remember that? She's like, yeah, if you guys didn't know, she's a trans actor, but the man in her said some things that were horrible. You're a jerk. Oh, now, here's our Razzies. These are the worst movies. All right, Belle. Madam Web won. I told you. Told you Madam Web was going to win.
We're about to run out of time, too.
Oh, my goodness. John Voight. I had John Voight. He won. Emma Roberts did not win.
Rats.
Dakota Johnson did win because she's the worst actress. Coppola won. Screen Dough, we did get it right. Screenplay also got it right with the Joker. But, man, I tell you what, we did pretty good in that. Those are the worst movies of the year. And there were plenty of those. Solid, kids. First hour. Coming up next hour, we're going to do a little NOAA. Well, I want you to hear this scientist who believes, he can control the weather, I think, in his mind. It is utmost importance. You want him on that water wall. You need him on that water wall. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
1 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Tell you a little bit more about this potential for severe weather in Middle Tennessee. President Trump will be meeting with his top national security advisors this afternoon about next steps toward a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine after that big blow up with Zelensky on Friday. Meanwhile, this is what the Trump administration likes to hear coming out of Europe.
In this House, we stand by Ukraine because it's the right thing to do. But we also stand by them because it's in our interest to do so.
As UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer telling the House of Commons the UK, France, and allies will work on a path forward relative to ending the war in Ukraine and then consult with the United States. Pope Francis on ventilation again. The 88-year-old pontiff suffering 2 incidents of not being able to breathe on his own today. And now let's check in with Alex Stone on the Gene Hackman mystery over there in New Mexico.
Investigators say preliminary tests have come back negative for carbon monoxide in the blood of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa, but experts say because they had been dead for many days before they were found in their home, carbon monoxide could be hard to detect in their blood. Other toxicology tests could take weeks or longer as investigators try to answer what killed Hackman, his wife, and their dog.
Opening statements were to start today, but no need now that the suspect in the deadly 2022 Highland Park 4th of July mass shooting in Illinois pleaded guilty. Robert Cremo accused of killing 7 people, injuring dozens that day. Here's reaction from Ashby Beasley, a parade shooting survivor and gun violence prevention advocate.
My son and I were at the parade and ran for our lives, and it has been a long process to healing. Even when you're not injured, just being at an event like this is life-changing.
Cremo faces life in prison for killing those 7 and wounding nearly 50 more when he's sentenced April 23rd. Illinois abolished the death penalty back in 2011. At least 2 people are dead, several others injured following a suspected car ramming in Germany today. They have 1 person under arrest, but police are not saying anything about a motive as of yet. Big Bear, California, has probably the 2 most famous bald eagles in the world, thanks to a webcam watching their every move. And right now, all eyes are on 3 eggs. Here's Alex Stone again.
You can hear the wind howling on the now famous webcam perched high up in the snow-covered trees honed in on Jackie and Shadow and their eggs. Tens of thousands of people are watching at any moment for signs of the eggs hatching. The last 2 years, their eggs never hatched. This year, though, Jackie and Shadow have 3 eggs in their nest, and now 2 pips, as they're called, have been seen in 2 of the eggs. A pip is when a baby bird begins cracking its shell from the inside. Now it's a wait to know what will happen next.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
USS, United Structural Systems. Let me read this to you. This guy had a complete foundation overhaul. Not a small project. These gentlemen, highly professional, punctual, meticulous, incredible, respectful of the property. They treated it as if it was their own and maintained a clean, organized work environment throughout the process, which they truly appreciate them coming there and doing that. If I ever need any structural foundation work in the future, USS will be my first and only call. 5 stars all the way. USS can help you with anything. You got damage because of this weather that has been a nightmare for the last, 6-8 weeks. Do you have any issues when it comes to maybe structural issues, maybe foundation issues, maybe issues when it comes to what's behind the wall because I think I got a leak? USS is there. Write this number down. They'll come out. They'll give you a full, once-over inspection. Not going to cost you anything. They're not going to give you any unnecessary repairs. You need to do this, this, and this. They're about being honest. That's why they have 30 years in business, 30,000 5-star customers. So call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. Check everything out they do online at USSTN.com. Uh-oh. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I want you to listen to this. I am also watching the eggs. There's been a couple pips, for sure.
Really?
Yep. You can see it. They're opening.
Son of a biscuit eater. I got to look at this.
You got to check it out. So they've got one. It's got about a nickel size, but it's wide open. The other one's got a couple other pips in it. It's coming, baby. We're going to have some more of those giant birds that are bald. Raptors, that's right. The last remains of dinosaurs. Fantastic. Speaking of that, NOAA, not the guy from the flood, different guy. This guy's spectacular. So they're all on strike today. Boy, it is hilarious, too. They're out there singing songs and holding hands and upset. They're the front line of everything. That's what they think. I'm a huge believer in thank you so much for working for the government. You get a paycheck, right? Okay, good. Are you going to tell me thank you? No, you're not? Okay. What about any of my friends who've been laid off recently? What about my friends I had a friend in Seattle who got canned from the old, no baristas lost their job, mind you. So anybody?
It's just those evil corporate bastards.
Evil corporate. Yeah. They're not going on TV.
All right, one area that has been severely cut is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA for short. The agency forecasts severe weather emergencies across the country. We hear a lot from them every hurricane season, and their forecasts save lives. With us now is Tom DiLiberto, former public affairs specialist and climate scientist at NOAA's Office of Communications. He was laid off last week. We're sorry for what you're going through. How'd you find out you were getting fired?
Now, first of all, okay, yeah, it sucks. I don't want anybody to lose their job. That being said, this guy, spectacular.
Yeah, I found out on last Thursday. I got a boilerplate email about 3:45 p.m. that kind of followed the OPM directives that said that I'm a probationary employee, so I can be assessed, and that my skills and abilities no longer met the agency's need, which is ridiculous.
Does he know who I am? This is ridiculous.
I'm entitled to this job.
Exactly. And that's the way this guy, by the way, that's the way this guy comes out. Like, when you listen to some of the stuff that he says, you're just like, whoa, dude.
Talk to us about the agency and the impact that these cuts will have. I cover hurricanes every year, and I know how people depend on these forecasts. But how will the cuts impact that?
Yeah, NOAA, it stands for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So if you like the oceans or you are impacted by the weather in any sort of way, which really means everybody, you're going to be impacted by this. A ton of people got fired. That's basically going to lead to a short-staffed agency that was already short-staffed, now trying to do more with less. And that is just asking for a disaster to happen. We know extreme weather is going to happen, hurricanes, tornadoes, snowstorms. And now we're asking an agency to basically try and forecast these, make the public aware of the impacts, but do it with less people. You're just asking for a mistake to happen. You're asking for burnout to occur. And it's just pointless when you look at the importance of what NOAA does.
You say...
Okay, you guys get that? The importance of it, right? We're all writing this down. because it's very important.
Well, we never had weather until NOAA came into existence.
We never even figured it out.
We don't have any. There's not a single other organization in the government that repeats what NOAA does.
No.
Except 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. NOAA does great work. It's fantastic. We're not saying it's a bad thing. My thing is I looked and see maybe 800 employees may lose their job. There's 14,000 employees. The way they
make NOAA alone?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to cut that in half.
Yeah. So here we go.
You say that the cuts will actually end up costing money. How?
Yeah, so NOAA has been well known that $1 into NOAA leads to there being many more dollars coming out because of just exactly what NOAA does. NOAA makes sure that people and places and communities and buildings don't suffer disasters as strongly as they otherwise would. NOAA is in charge of making sure that fishery industry is as healthy as could possibly be. It's also in charge of making sure coastal areas are not as impacted by erosion and sea level rise. So by basically getting rid of these things or making it more difficult for NOAA to do its job, you're basically going to cause there to be more money being spent and more damages being felt than otherwise happening.
So just want you guys to know that. Now, I learned that from Greta Thunberg, so I didn't need you. Okay? She told me when she worked at NOAA, all this stuff was going to happen. And then she also scolded me and said, how dare you? Because she does a lot of that stuff.
Why do you think NOAA was targeted?
I think this is a clear across-the-board attack on science. They don't like necessarily what NOAA does as it relates to climate change, and they don't like necessarily the fact that we help people because of the fact that we just help people. We have no ulterior motives at NOAA when we're trying to help the American public. At no point at NOAA has anyone ever said we're not going to give important information, data, and resources to a community based on who that community voted for. But we do know someone has done that. The president has done that when it's related to wildfires out in California. So I think there's a lot of issues with just the fact that we help others purely because we want to help others and because we're trying to help people deal with increasing extremes as it relates to climate change.
Wow.
If you're pimping climate change, then you're not simply talking about the weather.
I'm trying to figure out. I just want to make sure. So Trump, what did he do? Did he tell everybody, did he make Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, go to Ghana? Did he make sure that there was no water there? What exactly did he do to cause the wildfires that raged in California? Anybody know? I'd love to hear from you. You could text the program.
Well, he's the one that angered the arsonists that actually started it. And
he did.
And they wouldn't have started if it wasn't so hot.
Yes, the guy said NOAA was just profitable. They said something, I'll tell you that.
You're going to protest today in front of the NOAA building. What message do you want to send? What do you hope to accomplish?
I think it's important for people to know just how integral NOAA is into literally everything that they do. The forecasters at CNN are really great forecasters, but they're utilizing NOAA data all the time, whether they're talking about observations, whether they're talking about who can determine whether a tornado is an EF2 or ocean impacts or hurricanes. And I just want people to know that when it comes to who cares about the American public,
here we go.
It's federal workers. We do. Federal workers care so deeply about the American public because it's all we've wanted to do since we were kids growing up. I wanted to be a meteorologist when I was 8 years old, and I was able to live out that dream. And I want the American public to know that NOAA is still going to try and do everything they can to make sure that you're safe. But now we're having an issue where they're going to have to do it with one hand tied behind their back.
Just want to let you guys know. What I love is we care about the people. Oh, so you're doing it for free? Taking some donations, right? Is that the way that works, guys?
Oh, no. I still want the check.
Yeah. Now, are you donations? Are you doing it? Like, if you came to me and said, dude, I'll do this all day. I'll do, for whatever you need, man. I'm here for you. I'll do this. I'm not taking anything from you. Fantastic. Great. Like, that guy cares. So, and the only reason you're a meteorologist working for NOAA is because you couldn't get on TV. Let's be 100%. If you see the guy, you're like, nobody's going to let him be Johnny Mountain or whatever.
We're not putting you in front of the blue screen.
What is your favorite? Like every town's got somebody that is named after a weather. Timmy Raines.
Yeah. I liked on Bad Monkey, one of the meteorologists, her name was Heather with the Weather.
Yeah, see? I mean, you got that kind of, it's crazy. Like, that's it. All right, let's hear some more from this guy. I can't believe he's taking one for the team.
What's next for you personally?
Well, I'm going to a protest later today. I'm going to keep speaking out about the importance of NOAA and helping to represent those who are fired and also the amazing people who are still left at NOAA. And then I'm going to keep looking for jobs as it relates to communication about weather and climate. It's what I love to do, and I'd like to keep doing that.
Fantastic. You can do that.
God bless America.
I know. Well, I mean.
Go get you a job that requires some accountability.
He was a probationary guy. Somebody said how long he worked there. I think he was a Misty Clear Sky. I like that one. Some good weather names there. We had Dallas Rains and Johnny Mountain when I was a kid growing up. But this right here, I mean, look, I don't want you to lose your job, dude. But the whole the sacrifice that you make, you guys got paid. You guys got paid. It wasn't free. None of it's free. They're not going to, hey, you could work here. We're paying you minimum wage, and you have to sleep inside of a we have a youth hostel thing, right? And it's pretty. Everybody stays in there, and you got to work here, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you get a few hours off on a Sunday or a Monday, depending on. We got to rotate.
3 bologna sandwiches on Friday. Though.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's it. There's a little water over here if you want. I mean, you got paid, and this self-importance of. They should all have medals the way they I was the best at Xeroxing stuff. The sacrifice that I made for you. This is what Memorial Day's for. That's what I said on Friday. They think it's for them. Good God. It's insane. It really is. And they're out there doing it too, man. I love it. Should we hear some more of their song? Let's do it. Here it goes again. This is them earlier today.
Can you sing? Yeah. Can you clap?
This joy. These are the lyrics.
Okay, listen to the lyrics, guys.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world can't take it away. Very simple. Sing with us.
Okay, let's do it.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Touch the world to sing with me.
Perfect harmony. Because that's what it sounds like. What the hell are you people doing?
That's plagiarism.
It is. It's so amazing. I couldn't even imagine. That's why I want to go to one of those, just so I can be off time. Just when they're clapping, I'm a second off, and then I'm a little behind or a little early on the music.
Yeah.
Just to make them uncomfortable and have them all looking at me what's wrong with this guy? Nothing, all right? I'm all about us.
I'm all about we were civil. We're doing civil things. Now it's uncivil. I don't like that at all. Nothing about that's right. It's just so spectacular.
Oh.
I'm not reveling. You know what it is? I feel bad that you lost your job. I feel bad that we're broke.
Yes.
But that being said, let's just call it what it is. This is another opportunity to go after Trump and Elon for trying to clean up stuff that nobody's wanted to clean up. And you know what? A president can only take this on in the second term.
That's right.
Anybody who takes it on in the first term would never have a second term, even if it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, they're done.
You never get a response out of these people either about, what part of their division or their agency could be trimmed back. And being $36 trillion in debt, do we just keep the gravy chain growing forever?
Well, everybody wants, everybody's in agreement. Yes, we need to cut some stuff. We need to tighten our belts.
But not mine.
Not mine. Don't touch mine because mine's super important, right? We Xerox more stuff. Our metals are bigger than their metals over there.
We talk about hurricanes here.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Somebody just texted in and goes, so we didn't have weather before NOAA? No, we didn't.
Well, and I mean, everybody in the private sector faces a threat of losing your job on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's called accountability for not doing your gig. By the way, Dallas Rains is still there. Thank you very much, my man. Danielle Breezy? You guys got Danielle Breezy?
Yeah, Danielle Breezy here in Nashville.
Do they look like the ones in Los Angeles? We're like, didn't I? What do you?
Stormy Daniels could be a...
We have a lot of those in L.A. where they're swinging around. They're like, well, look at us over here. You've got woo. It's why is the pour some sugar on it playing as there's
pour some sugar.
Oh, Chad. All right, coming up, we got more stuff on the way. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Birch Gold, baby. Gold. Let me tell you something about it. You need it. Diversification is key to a solid, healthy, and long-term plan when it comes to your investments and your retirement. When times get a little wonky as they are now, when they get a little uncomfortable as they are now, when they get a little bit overbought and spicy, you want to make sure that you have a backup plan, and Birch Gold is going to deliver that to you with gold. That's what I want you to do. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. They're going to get you out the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era. Top of that, they're going to get you out a free investor kit, let you take a look at what it is that they have to offer. It is simple and easy. They can show you how you can move over your IRA, 401k, have it backed by gold at no cost to you. And at a time when things feel a little uncertain, gold provides that certainty. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. Get the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era, as well as the investor kit from our friends at Birch Gold. That is Benson to 989898 today.
No trial necessary for the 2022 Highland Park 4th of July killer. We'll tell you that at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So I was looking at the Eagles. Did you see the Eagles, man? Did you get on the thing?
Yeah, I got on there, and one of them was sitting on the eggs. The other one was keeping a watch out.
I'm going to tell you guys this right now.
Man, it's beautiful out there.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Big Bear's beautiful. 55,000 people are currently watching that. 55,000 people are watching that. CNN, you guys should just have maybe those girls sit on eggs. I don't know. Coming up next, Caitlin Collins is going to sit on an egg. You guys know you turn in for that.
Whoa, there is some movement here, Brother Chad.
I told you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Wow.
Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, you can just go to Big Bear Bald Eagle Live Nest. There's 3 of them. They've packed through a little bit. One of them looks like it's ready to go.
Yep.
And become a star.
So
Man,
cool,
That
man.
is so cool. 58,000 people currently watching it. How awesome is that?
She got them covered up again.
She does.
Got them
man.
covered
Tell
up
you
again.
what, those things, I'm going to write on there. Those things taste like chicken, right?
I heard they taste like penguin.
Oh, penguin's delicious. So,
Daddy left.
He did. Well, he had to go do something. He's
Yeah.
like, I got to go get some food for everybody. I
Yeah.
have a feeling this is going to get serious in a second.
He's going to go get a fish.
Yeah, that's right. They're not good hunters. Did you know that?
Bald eagles aren't?
Mm-mm.
Really?
So when I was up in Alaska and I was fishing, and the guy up there is like, these things, man, because they throw bait out there, because they'll come down like everywhere. So they throw this bait down, and this dead bait, this thing would miss. And they but what was crazy is the salmon, right? They all spawn and everything. So I'm going out there and I'm getting ready to get on the boat, and I walk over, and they're all these dead salmon that are just, there's nothing left of them, right?
Right.
These things are so fat, they can't fly. So you start walking towards them. Rather than fly off, they just kind of hop away.
They just run.
Because they can't get up. I'm like, I've been there, guys. I've been there. Oh, my goodness. I'm excited, though. This is going to be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe on our watch.
Who knows, man?
60,000 people watching. What are you people doing? I don't know. Though it's peaceful. Think about, listen to this.
Yeah.
It's kind of peaceful. It's like white noise. That's what it is. Speaking of white noise, Pam Bondi. That's not very nice.
So I'm going through it, and I kept saying, there has to be more. There has to be more. I'm assured that's it. Cash asked the same questions. Assured there's no more. I found out, this week that a source told me New York, SDNY, they're sitting on thousands of pages of documents regarding Epstein. Thousands. And, of course, you've seen the very strong letter. We will get everything. We will have it in our possession. We will redact it, of course, to protect grand jury information and confidential witnesses. But the American people have a right to know. And Donald Trump is the most transparent president in our nation's history. So not only will America get the full Epstein files, they will get JFK. They will get Martin Luther King.
She sounds like a broken record now. This all could have been fixed by coming out, was it Wednesday night or whatever, and just saying, look, we don't think we have all the files. You're not going to learn anything new in these. These are just more of the same, and we'll go from there. But we have to go to the Southern District of New York, who has a vast majority of these files, so the ones that people are looking for, and we think they have all of those, which may be true, maybe not, because it doesn't sound like they've gotten them to her. And I don't know if they have them. I don't know. And I don't know if I don't think we'll ever see all the things that people want to see. Partially because I think a lot of these people that they were after, I have a feeling they were turning all kinds of evidence and spying on other countries and using their especially Epstein. And so we probably sanctioned some of that stuff, as horrible as it sounds. We turned a blind eye because, the ends justified the means for some of these people. And they're not going to, there's no way government's going to be like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're kind of like the Catholic Church. They're never doing that. They're never going to do that. Ever. It's just not going to happen. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to. Does Donald Trump have syphilis? Depends. Somebody says he does. I think he doesn't. But somebody does, which is just, again, another insane thing. Speaking of insane, AOC out there again when it comes to immigration, telling people how to avoid immigration when they're coming. La migra. Talk a bit about that as well. A bunch of other stuff to get to. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still tracking the potential for severe weather in Middle Tennessee tomorrow. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Instead of opening arguments, the suspect accused of the 2022 Highland Park 4th of July massacre in Illinois pleaded guilty today.
The victims and the survivors of the Highland Park 4th of July tragedy are intensely relieved at what transpired today in court They are going home to process. It was a very emotional experience in court this morning. They remain very committed to civil justice.
As Jennifer McGuffin, the chief communications officer at Romanucci and Blandon Law, which represents survivors of the shooting, Robert Cremo took 7 lives and injured dozens of others on that day. And since the death penalty isn't an option in Illinois, he is expected to get life in prison with no possibility of parole. An announcement today at the White House on investment in semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S. Here's Karen Travers.
President Trump today is announcing a $100 billion investment in the U.S. over the next 4 years by a chip maker, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. TSMC first announced in 2020 it would break ground on a semiconductor manufacturing facility in Arizona. It has since pledged $65 billion in investments in that state, calling it the largest foreign direct investment in Arizona's history. It's not immediately clear how much of the $100 billion the company's announcing today is part of previous commitments. TSMC also benefited from a $6.6 billion grant from the Biden administration last year from the CHIPS and Science Act.
The Vatican says Pope Francis suffered 2 incidents today where he was not able to breathe on his own. He's still recovering from double pneumonia, the 88-year-old pontiff. And turning to sports, Jimmy Johnson has announced his retirement from Fox Sports after being part of its NFL coverage for 31 years. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Wellness Institute of Nashville is ready to help you get rid of that pain, make 2025 all better again, thanks to their latest. In honor of the 47 present, 47% off the non-surgical spinal decompression in the big 47 offer going on right now. No pills, no spinal creams. It is awesome. So how does it work? So non-surgical spinal decompression works like this. Spinal decompression machines heals the disc by opening the disc so that the blood and the nutrition can get in the areas and heal the spine and nerve. Knee decompression is similar to that. And it is awesome. First of all, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley are incredible. You're going to go there and find out why they're absolutely the best. They're going to treat you like you've never been treated. And first and foremost, it's about building something for you to get yourself back on track, feeling good and not being frustrated about all of the pain. Take advantage of the Big 47 offer going on now. 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. Start your new year and 2025 off in an amazing way. And we should be rocking and rolling right now. You should be out there doing stuff, especially as some sun's coming, the whole 9 yards. So what do you want to do? Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chad Benson program. I feel like that's a debate thing. We're here tonight.
That sounds like a debate.
Right? My goodness me. A lot of you texting in. Sandra, of course, who has anything we say. It's the exact opposite. Eagles aren't great hunters. They're the best hunters in the history of mankind. They're not, actually. They're scavengers. That's what they're famous for. They like free, cheap, and easy. It's kind of like us.
I was getting ready to say, just like me.
That's right. Cheap and easy. Let's go out and see what they're doing out there. The NOAA, you guys don't know NOAA, the group of weather folk, as I like to call them now, the meteorologists, the people who are sacrificing so much for our country, are out there today because they got their notice that they're going to be, some of them are going to be leaving. So they're upset and they're having a huge, I mean, they got drums. They got a drum circle. Oh, nothing says, you know what, guys? I know that I thought we were wasting money. I saw you guys had a drum circle. We can't get rid of this.
No, nobody does a drum circle unless they're right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They would never be wrong.
Hello, everybody. Are you ready to stand up for science?
Science!
My name is Astrid Caldas. I am a senior climate scientist at the Union of Concerned Scientists. Actually, change that to Union of...
Oh, wow, you got us now. Union of Pissed Off Scientists. By the way,
that's clever.
Elon believes in climate change. Elon, that's one of the reasons he wants us to populate the hell out of everything so we have more people to be able to afford living here. He also knows that we need to go somewhere else potentially. That's why he wants to go to Mars. He believes it. That's why he created that electric car that everybody hates, apparently. Now, so you're upset. I get it. You lost your gig. I get it. Not all of you lost your gig. Getting rid of less than 10% of a workforce that's over 13,500 is really not... Well, they're never going to be able to do science now that I'm not there. Settle down, Newton. It's insane. They have lost their blanking minds. Speaking of that, AOC's back at it again. She was on NPR.
Be nice. Be nice.
Oh, you love her, right?
I love her. Until she talks. But up until that point, she's golden.
You had a recent...
By the way, can I just say this? While I'm not a fan of Sandy Cortez in a lot of her stuff, a lot of what she says makes absolute sense in a lot of things. Especially when she's talking about the waste of money. When she took on that guy, I don't know, was it Halliburton or somebody? He's like, why does this light bulb cost $10,000? When she started doing it, I thought, that's brilliant. Like, I agree with you on those things. But for the most part, she's just Sandy Cortez.
You had a recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum, that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents. And I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally.
Mm-hmm.
Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents. Yeah.
He said he was going to report you, or even that he did reach out to the Department of Justice. Have you heard from the Department of Justice?
I have not, and I intend on reaching out to the Department of Justice to inquire.
Really? What would your question be for the Department of Justice?
Well, there is a member of the Trump administration who is threatening and seeks to open an inquiry, and are you going to do it?
What would you learn? What do you hope to learn from that exchange?
I think it's important to know where this administration stands and if they intend on using political intimidation to silence their critics.
It's not about political intimidation. You're out there telling people how to avoid certain. You're actively working against the federal government, of which you're a part of. Like, that is fascinating to me. You're working against the federal government. I mean, that is, I guess we shouldn't be shocked anymore at this. And I love the whisper talk. We should do whisper talk. Bell, how was your weekend?
It was phenomenal.
Fantastic.
I sat around and I screamed into the void.
The void, that's fantastic.
I knew I'd be coming into work today to just whisper.
The whisper talk. Ken, how are you in the whisper talk?
Well, I had a good time this weekend. I did absolutely nothing.
That's fantastic. We're doing this, lots of whisper talking. God, it's just so, even when I watch their videos, it feels like it should be whispering. Like it's in sepia. It's not even in color. It's like black and white. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Soft Talk. It's like soft rock, but soft talk. She's working against the government. She is. She's working against it. And you know what else is sad is she's trying to scare people that are here legally along with everybody else, saying they're all coming for you. They're coming to take you away. Ha ha, he he. They're coming. You can't stop it. Even if you're here legally, they're going to throw you out. That's so wrong. That's ridiculous. And what do they want? They've said it 1,000 times. The worst first. How hard can it be? If you've done something wrong and you are in custody, and it is easy for our people, ICE, to go down and they're not asking you to arrest the person. They just happen to be in custody. That's the thing that it blows my mind. I don't want our police playing immigration police, right? I don't care. City, state, I don't want any of that. But if you happen to, throughout the day of your normal activity as an officer of the law, pick somebody up who happens to be wanted by ICE, and ICE gets a ping, and they said, hey, so-and-so's over here. That's all they're asking. And you can't even do that, which then causes them to have to make serious decisions about going into the communities. And when they go into the communities, this is when the little grandma down the street that you really like gets picked up. And even though she's not probably going to be deported because we're still releasing most of these people because after 72 hours, they have nowhere to, we can't hold them. 48 to 72 hours, we have to let them go because that's the law and we don't have room for them. So it's become a nightmare. And all they're asking is, can we get the worst first? And you can't even do that. You've got to just say, well, if you're going to take one, you're going to end up taking them all. So alas, here we go. Which is just ridiculous, to say the least. Speaking of ridiculous, James Carville.
Professionals that are getting the comments, and some of you just well-informed citizens. But I don't think we can discount the fact that we saw was mad. I'm not going to concede that I'm just asking questions. I'm just making an observation that everyone saw. We know that boy ain't right.
We know that boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right.
He's got syphilis. I didn't even know that. And really, that's like very, that's a big thing to say. Let's hear some more from the wackadoo.
What she saw is madness. And I don't mean madness like I'm mad at you, you mad at me, you didn't say this. I'm talking about madness like King George III kind of madness.
Oh, okay.
And it could be a combination of being a fat fucking slob, which
that's not very
he
nice.
is. It could be that he's can't sleep at night because his beached whale body can't
so personal
allow the circulation it needs. I don't know. I'm not a sleep specialist or a medical doctor. But I think we should revisit the possibility of a syphilis diagnosis.
Good grief.
My God.
James Carville.
What is wrong? You got syphilis based on that insanity. Wow. You don't think they would have figured it out if he had syphilis by now? This is, for all the talk of how evil Trump is and how bad he is and the way that he acts, you've got people that are political pundits, people who had power and sway, coming out and saying things like, well, he may have syphilis. That boy ain't right. That boy ain't right. That is, and for those of you who don't understand history, maybe don't look, If you go back in our history and you saw the way they talk to each other and the lies they spread inside the newspaper, it was pretty spectacular back in the day. And there was cross-dressing. There was all kinds of things they talked about each other. But this is spectacular. This is exactly what I expect, though, in today's world of, unfortunately, politics and the way it is. It's about as much grabbing attention as it is anything else. There's no doubt about that. You reach out to us across all of our social media. Coming from a Cajun crackhead, is what one person said. Carville looks like, okay, I can't say that. It was hilarious, though. A person who had a disease in the 80s that really doesn't kill you anymore, person. Somebody said he looks like a
You want me
lizard.
to say it for you?
He's got the AIDS.
I'm
80
sure
AIDS.
where did it go? I lost it.
Yeah, he's got the 80 AIDS. That's what I used to call it. Because nobody does anymore. I mean, if Freddie would have caught it, Freddie Mercury, like 3 years later, we'd still have Queen. That's it. But Carville looks, I always thought he looked like? He looks like an alien. Like a gray.
Got that big bald head.
Yeah. What's his wife's name? Maitland?
Madeline Maitland.
Yeah. She had a stroke several years ago, and he's a full-time caregiver. Because their story's really interesting. He's a super raging lefty.
Yeah.
She was uber conservative.
Yeah.
There was a movie about that, right? With
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there was with George Clooney. So they're on opposite sides of the stuff, but they left politics at home, and it's a cool love story outside the fact that he thinks that he's got syphilis, and
we know that boy ain't right.
You know what? I don't think Trump is all there, and I'm totally here for it.
That's right.
Rome is burning, and I'm laughing.
That's right. Does it hurt when you urinate, sir? I only talk weird stuff when I know that Bell's drinking something because I want to see him catch the board on fire.
Just blow it everywhere.
Hey, what do you think of Bell?
Don't wish that on me.
I know. I wouldn't. What do you think of Bell?
That boy ain't right.
That's what I thought. Thought that a long time. Only known him for... You're welcome. You're welcome. She was a Republican. No, she's not. Was her name? She's a Republican. No, she was Republican. She was a conservative. She was a Reagan conservative. It's the best way to describe her. And
it was always odd to hear about them, though, because he was always such a go for the throat kind of person that he'd just rip into conservatives and Republicans. And then you'd had to imagine him going home and be like, hey, honey, how was your day?
Yeah, because she would do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, what's their name? George, whatever his name is, and
George
Conway.
Stephanopoulos?
George Conway.
Conway.
Oh, yeah, Conway and what was her name?
Blonde lady.
Why can I not remember her name?
Somebody
That's
will tell
weird.
us.
Yeah, somebody will tell us.
Oh, my Lord. That is, he looks like the Crypt Keeper. It's me, the Crypt Keeper.
Kellyanne Conway.
Kellyanne Conway. She still works for him, right? I know they're getting a divorce, and their kid's a wackadoo as well at times. So I think their kid doesn't like either of them, if I remember right. So there's the way that's working out.
What teenager is really a big fan of their parents and their teens?
I know. That is funny. All I know is coming up next, we got a little bit of news with Ken.
That boy ain't right.
And here's going to be straight ahead here. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Omaha Steaks, baby. Right now, 50% off. Whatever you want. Omaha Steaks. 50%. The best steaks around. 1917, the butchers of America. The first butchers of America. They're going to take care of you like you could not believe. You will absolutely love Omaha Steaks. So if you want fillets, you want surf and turf, you want pork chops, you want burgers, you want dogs, you want it all. They've got it all. 50% off. You're thinking, that's great. It's a semi-annual sale. Great, Chad. What else? Use my code Benson. 30% off on top of that. And here's the other thing. Bite for bite guarantee. So what does that mean? You're not thrilled? You're not happy? You send it back? Money back, no questions asked. It's that amazing. It's a semi-annual sale. It is going on right now. They've got tons of stuff that is already packaged and ready to roll. So whatever it is that you're looking for, as far as I want 4 or 5 of these, and I want some surf and turf. They've got it. Or if you just want to create your own, they can do it. Semi-annual sale, 50% off right now. OmahaSteaks.com. Use code Benson, an extra $30 at checkout. You save. OmahaSteaks.com, code Benson.
President Trump says America is back big time in the chip-making business. I'll tell you about that at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Excited about that. I like chips.
Especially the ones with cheese on them.
Oh, fantastic. I like Pringles, too. Love barbecue chips.
Do Doritos count as chips?
Not the chips I think they're talking about.
Oh.
We produce a lot of that here because we're a little bit bigger of a nation is what I'm trying to tell you. NOAA on strike or whatever. Have you guys hear this? Oh, by the way, that's our eagle. It has not landed yet. We're watching the eagle. It's not doing anything. I'm kind of bummed about it. I want this thing to hatch right on our show because once that happens, we win.
And the world who depends on NOAA cutting-edge life-saving science. Last Wednesday, before the layoffs were announced, the Union of Concerned Scientists delivered an open letter to leaders of Congress and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, signed by more than 2,500 scientists and other experts, urging them to ensure NOAA remains fully funded and staffed.
Which is, we want. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to give up their portion of the pie. And I get that. But at some point in time, we have to look and say, it's not about cutting jobs and then everybody's going to work harder. It's about, first, I think one of the things that's never talked about, take away Elon, right? If you can. We've got to modernize a lot of this stuff. And it's not modernized. And if this is the government, we're all civil servants and you guys all want to give back, well, shouldn't it be one of those situations where we go, look, across the board, we're going to cut 10% of the workforce? Rather than just go, we're going to just cut this. Would you guys be okay with it? No, because nobody ever wants to lose theirs. And many of these people that are not going to be employed by the government were probationary. They were in their first year or two of work, and they weren't tenured yet. So, NOAA, I'm sorry, but you're losing about 5% of your workforce. But the way this guy makes it sound, this one guy earlier is like, well, this guy he would fix some of the planes. Now we're not going to have planes? Really? Was he the only guy that fixed planes? Because I don't think they get rid of the only guy that fixes planes. Or the only guy that can do this. Or the only gal that knows how to do this. I think they wouldn't do that. I think they would look and say, we've got 40 of these. We probably only need 35. I worked for a company a few years ago in the radio world where they came to everybody and they said, look, here's the deal. A couple of the other places across the country aren't doing so great. So we can all take like a 5% cut and only one or two people will lose their jobs. Or we can just, watch them wipe themselves out. And everybody said, you know what, we'll do that. And they cut hours and did some stuff like that. But a vast majority of people got to keep their jobs. But every one of us could have said, no, we're fine. Everybody else can suffer. Nobody wants their piece of the pie messed with. Ever. They spend like it's going out of style. They want all of the money they can get. They want to hire as many as possible. And they make it seem like, well, now Elon's cutting here, so he's anti-science. He's the exact opposite of anti-science. He's the exact opposite of that.
I heard he doesn't believe in electricity.
He doesn't. I heard that too. It's a shame because I thought of all people to believe in electricity, that was the guy. But he's not anti-science. He's anything but anti-science. But he's numbers. And right now, the math ain't mathing. And we got to cut some stuff.
Yeah, Patrick had a good point that they're not mentioning the 8-month severance package with benefits.
Oh, well, they never mentioned that. What are you going to do today? I don't know.
There's big evil people, they laid me off with severance and my insurance is still intact. It doesn't sound quite as desperate, does it?
And you still, if you work for them and you have some sort of retirement, and I don't know how long you have to be in to be vested to a certain level or whatever, you're not losing any of that. So if you were there 20 years and you're going to get X amount of dollars for your retirement and you're let go, you get that still, and you get the 8 months, and you get all that stuff. But I know that a lot of these people that, like, especially in NOAA, were probationary. So that's the worry. It's like, oh, geez, they're cutting. Who else would you cut? Oh, by the way, this guy named Clinton and Al Gore, before he invented the internet, he and Clinton got together, and they got about 370,000 jobs they either didn't hire for them that were needed, or they got rid of many probationary people to downsize and shrink the government as much as possible. They did that. There was no cry then at all, was there? Coming up, hour number 3 of the Chad Benson Show. If you're missing the show, we say...
Shame. It is 2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still tracking the potential for severe weather tomorrow night in Middle Tennessee. And it's still on the lowest of levels, a 1 out of 5 risk. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. A power outage at Baltimore Washington International Airport causing significant flight delays and other interruptions to air travel today. More than 100 flights were delayed and a handful were canceled as of mid-morning. That included Southwest Flight 2195 here into Nashville. Trump, that is President Trump, says America is back in the semiconductor chip-making business with today's announcement.
A big percentage of chips with this investment will be made now, a big percentage. Worldwide, we had very little, almost none. We used to have a lot with Intel, but we had very little. And we'll be at close to 40% of the market with this transaction and a couple of others that we're doing.
Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company pledging a $100 billion investment over the next 4 years in U.S. chip making. First Lady Melania Trump speaking out against the publication of non-consensual sexually explicit images at a roundtable on Capitol Hill today in support of the Take It Down Act, which was unanimously passed by the Senate earlier this month. The bill requires technology platforms to remove reported content after receiving a valid request.
The widespread presence of abusive behavior in the digital domain affects the daily lives of our children, families, and communities.
No trial necessary. Robert Crimo pleading guilty today in the 2022 Highland Park July 4th parade massacre, shooting and killing 7 people, injuring dozens of others. This is Jennifer McGuffin with the law firm representing survivors.
Each expressed an individual and a collective sense of relief, but today was a very emotional event.
Crimo will be sentenced next month and is likely to get life in prison without parole since Illinois has no death penalty. At least 2 people dead, several others injured following a suspected car ramming in Germany. Police say 1 person's under arrest, but they haven't said anything about a motive. And in Los Angeles this morning, it wasn't what some home burglars took, but what they left behind in the street, says Alex Stone.
LA is dealing with an ongoing problem of home burglaries, often carried out by Chilean gangs that travel to the U.S. just to burglarize high-end homes. In Bel Air on Monday, a street was littered with $100 bills and designer purses after a burglary. The suspects got away, but they dropped a bunch of their loot on the way out. Thousands of dollars in cash all over a street. Now the LAPD is looking for the burglars.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Retirement Ready Toolkit is ready for you. So, what's going on in the world? Making people uncomfortable, especially if you're close to retirement or at retirement. You may need to rethink what you do, and Beacon's going to help you with that with the Retirement Ready Toolkit. You deserve to be confident no matter what's going on in the economy. They've got you locked and loaded for your financial goals, especially when it comes to retirement, because you don't want to unretire. That's awful. So this is what you get. Call 615-488-9303. They're local. You can sit down, chat with them. You're going to get in the Retirement Ready Toolkit Money Enough for Life book, retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. It doesn't cost you a thing. There is no obligation, zero pressure. They're great guys. Like I said, you can sit down and talk with them. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today, 615-488-9303 for your free Retirement Ready Toolkit from Beacon. That's 615-488-9303, or find them online at askbeaconnow.com. Zelensky's addiction to popularity. That's what I keep thinking is. That was an intervention the other day. His addiction to popularity, his addiction to stuff, the fame, the fortune, all of the stuff that comes with being the newest Churchill in his mind, right? This guy, he's got a rock star status, right? He was already an entertainer, so he gets all of the stuff. He understands the entertainment world. And everything is done with a look in mind. Everything is done with you want to show your leader in the most positive life. And he understands that. And now is the opportunity for him to say, all right, I've led enough. It's time to put this thing to an end. He didn't want to hear that the other day. Not the way. He wanted to come there. People are asking the question, why again did you come here at all? This could have been signed over there. This could have been signed in Europe. All you needed to bring was a nice attitude and a pen. And you couldn't even do that. You could have signed it. Everybody could have smiled. You took some pictures, right? Like as a contract. You ever seen that when they all signed it right there and they hold it, and then we all move on? This could have happened in a much easier way, but it didn't. And then it went sideways, and it became must-see TV, as you guys all know, later on. He went over to Bret Baier and did, I'm not quite sure what the idea was, to go to Bret Baier right afterwards and complain.
That our soldiers run away, that they are not heroes, that Ukraine lost millions of civilians, that his president is dictator, you know? What is the reaction? It's not about me. The reaction is that where is our friendship between Ukraine and the United States? That's it. This is filling. And that's why I do not want to lose our great partners at the United States. And please, be correct. I want to be very polite. I mean this, be correct with this number.
What? Was that Zelensky?
Yes.
When Trump was dressing him down, he specifically said that his people were very brave and had fought very hard.
Yeah. I'm not quite, and this has nothing to do with the people of, and I think we have to separate that. This has nothing to do with the people of Russia. It doesn't have anything to do with the people of Ukraine. Unfortunately, they're the ones, like anything, who pay for their leaders' mistakes. And as much as America and the West played a part in pushing what Putin thought he had to do, it's still Putin's action that caused this. And he's a dictator of a different type. You can say what you want about the likes of, because I've heard so many people argue with me over the last couple of days, he's just as bad as Putin. He's nowhere near as bad as Putin. Putin is otherworldly. Putin is the kind of guy that when he was younger with the KGB did really bad things. He wasn't playing piano with his wiener, because that is one of the things that Zelensky did. He wasn't doing crazy, avant-garde comedy. Putin was making people beg for their lives before he ever got into the political world of stuff. So they're totally different things. Doesn't mean that the results aren't somewhat the same, because it absolutely is in some cases. But when I think of a dictator, I think of people who are dictators for real. I mean, you look at somebody like Kim Jong-un is a dictator. He may be the most powerful as far as person-to-person dictator on the planet, because he's built a death cult, which is pretty impressive. But when it comes to, him, he's a slave, Zelensky, to the stuff. I'm telling you, this was, yes, it was as much about Europe, and it was as much as about a lot of other things. This conversation that should have been held in private, that was held in public, that showed me a lot. But also, man, it is about the microphone. It's about being treated like a rock star. It's about the Nobel Prize. It's about all those things. And yes, some of it is personal. You'd be foolish not to think so. Trump brought up the Russia thing. But also, I think Trump looks over and goes, wait a minute here. I want to stop a war. He wants to keep it going. I want to get everybody, not just this war. I want to stop a war that's going on right now in the Middle East. I want to get things moving in the right direction. I want people to have prosperity along with their peace. And yet everybody celebrates this guy, and they look at me as I'm some evil dude because I dare talk to him in a certain way, which, again, is mind-blowing. But I expect nothing less from the media. And can it be saved? Can this be salvaged? Can we save this? Is it possible? Save what?
As regards salvaging the relationship that you asked about, I think that our relationship will continue because this is more than relationships in one moment. We need to be open. Ukraine is not the largest country in the world. However, everyone can see how Ukraine is fighting for its independence and freedom. And we are grateful to the people of the United States.
Are you? Are you really grateful for the people of the United States? Yes, I think they are. I think they absolutely are. Again, this is not about their people. They have fought like you could not believe. All you have to do is watch any of the GoPro stuff, any of the stuff going on, the violence, the watching people get killed, having their life snuffed out from underneath them, the battles going on. It is World War I-esque. It is house to house. It is almost, from hole to hole. They're going from one place to. It is ferocious. They're fighting They're fighting for their existence as a human being, as well as for their country. It's not about them. It's not. It's about your leader. It's time for him to go. And you negotiate with the strongest person. And the strongest person is Putin. Now, do I think Putin, who's celebrating this, may get a little itchy at some point in time? Yeah, it's possible. Again, I don't trust him as far as I see him. And remember this, if he's worried about the West encroaching, meaning NATO in particular, you trying to take over a country next to a NATO country by default puts you closer to the West. And all of my military friends have all said the same thing. If you think fighting a war is tough, try occupying a nation. Because as we know, it doesn't work out well.
He was then asked to react to some of the suggestions from Trump's inner circle that perhaps he needs to step aside if he can't fix his relationship with the U.S. president.
How can I put it? With what's happening with the support to change me, it will not be easy because it is not enough to simply hold elections. You would need to prevent me from participating in the elections. And I said that I'm exchanging it for NATO membership, and then it means that I fulfilled my mission.
You're never getting NATO membership. There is nothing in the world, at least any time in the next few decades, where NATO membership would be open at all. And how long are we going to be in NATO? That's a fair question. Are we worried about the Soviets? Not really. Do we come up with something else outside of NATO, an alternative like we did with NAFTA? Come up with something that may be a little bit more precise when it comes to fighting terror and that stuff? That's always a possibility. There's no doubt about that. Do I think NATO's a good idea? It served its purpose. Do I think we throw the entire thing away? I don't know if we do because we are NATO. But there's got to be some stuff, I think, that you start thinking about, okay, how do we really address this situation? Because if you ever looked on a pie chart, without us, NATO doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of nations with their regular military spending. I mean, we give them we give them their health care. We give them their safety net. We give them their social programs because of what we have as far as protection. So does NATO exist without us? Probably not. It's kind of like the UN, right? Like if we got out of the UN, what are we going to do with the UN? Somebody said, why will NATO give them membership? Because everybody over there always wants to tickle the bear. They want to see how far they can push him. There's no reason whatsoever to even think about giving him NATO membership. And remember, if you go back to 94, Putin kind of said, hey, you know what? We'd like to be part of NATO. It's like, dude, we created this to stop you guys. We don't want you to be a part of it. So that's not going to happen. So no NATO, but yes, do they need some guarantees? Yeah, you give them some guarantees. Guarantee that the Europeans will be there and we will make sure they have all the weapons they need should the Pooter jump in again. But he's not going to jump in anytime soon, at least for the next 3 or 4 years. Because he doesn't want to. He's exhausted. As much as Ukraine is lost, Putin's lost just as much. He's lost 1 million to 1.5 million young men and women that are the future, that don't want to come back, who are terrified of the repercussions and have fled. Not to mention the God knows how many are injured and or have been killed in the fighting. You've got a brain drain on your nation. You've suffered, well, you, not so much, but the rest have suffered somewhat financially. It's been a nightmare. It's not a win at all for them. And he needs an off-ramp. Trump's offering it to him. They're going to end up occupying 15 to 20% of the nation. Welcome to the world we live in. It was always going to be land for peace. Land for peace it is. Everybody moves on. We get some minerals out of it. We get some money out of it. And these same companies that, by the way, love to blow stuff up here in America and build the stuff that keeps us safe at night, they're going to have the opportunity to help rebuild the nation, which is what we're good at as well. And have plenty of jobs over there. So it's an opportunity here for everybody to get out, but it's got to be with him. And his ego is the thing that drives. It's absolutely the thing that drives him. It was an intervention the other day, and the intervention is, dude, you're chasing the dragon that is Putin. You want the fame. You like it all. You like the jets. You like the jet set in life. You like to be able to go places, know people are there. You can have all of that. You just can't run the country. And you can't replace it with the Putin puppet. You don't want that. But what you do want is give them an opportunity to have an election and get out of this situation and everybody move forward. It shouldn't be hard. But it is, because he's got this thing in mind that he is Churchill and he's running this thing in such a way that it is, he is, fighting the Germans all by himself. It ain't happening that way. And Churchill didn't want to be in that position. And I remind everybody what happened to Churchill after the war. His popularity was at the height. And yet he was a wartime prime minister. And he got blown out after the war because that wasn't his gig. He was great to lead through war, not through peace. This guy is addicted to ego, addicted to all of the stuff. And yes, I believe he loves his country, but I think he likes himself a little bit too. Coming up, got a little bit more weirdness. We're going to talk about, and I said it earlier, the creepiest thing. What would you do to get your eyesight back? Oh, yeah. Wait till you hear the story of this new surgery. Tried it for a while, but now it's taken off. Could it be coming here to America? We're going to talk a bit about that. We got more updates on the Eagles, not the football team, but the actual Eagles in Big Bear, getting ready to give birth to not 1, not 2, but 3 eggs. Ooh, they're starting to hatch. They're pecking. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right, kids, let's talk about Bulwark Capital. Right now, Bulwark has a great thing coming up the 20th of this month. It is 5:30 our time, 3:30 Pacific. It is a free live webinar about investing in retirement. It's the first 100 days. My buddy Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer, swear by him, the guy is the man. He will help you walk through what's going on in your investments and your retirement. He is beyond ridiculously smart. The way that they do it through active management, lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, give you the most upside potential. There is nobody out there that I just look, he's my guy, period. My family's and everybody there. So if you'd like to check out what they do, and you should, doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time, I want you to do this. Go to knowyourriskradio.com, KNOW, yourriskradio.com today, and sign up. Check out the webinar, and then get a free second opinion. That's where they go through an entire situation with just you alone, break down what's going on in your investments and your retirement, show you how they can help you get to where you need and want to be. Go to knowyourriskradio.com and sign up today. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trek 25137.
All right, drivers, we got a big problem in Williamson County. It is 65 southbound. Right there at 840, you've got a car that looks like it has run up underneath a semi, and they have blocked all 3 lanes there of 65 southbound at 840. President Trump says today's semiconducting investment means tens of thousands of jobs in the U.S. Details coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You were talking earlier about Kellyanne Conway, and her daughter, how she doesn't. You know what her daughter does now? OnlyFans.
Of course. Yeah. She looks more like her mother than her dad.
She looks like a supermodel. That's what she looks like. She looks like Kellyanne had an affair. Oh, geez, Chad, that's not very nice.
I was getting ready to say, maybe it's just a picture of her foot.
It is not. Adult content, she says. So she is... well, first of all, can I just say, she's charging $5 with some footage and racy content. And I'm not quite. $5. I wonder what she makes. I'm sure she makes more money than Pops. The most expensive is $99. I saw somebody the other day, and I was talking to Chris about it. She's 20. She made $50 million last year.
Yeah.
You know what? What am I going to say? Don't. You're going to lose yourself. She came from nothing. She talked about she doesn't spend a penny of her money. She's invested it, and she takes care of her mom and dad and her little brothers and sisters, so they never have to worry about anything other again.
Yeah.
And it may not be something we want to hear, but the reality is, look, there's a lot of people giving it away, and she made money off of it. I get why people, if it's easy money, I get why people do it. It's alluring.
Yeah. Well, especially teachers.
Oh, yeah. I know.
In some of the, states where they're not paid very well, these teachers are, good grief, man. They're setting aside $35,000 a year for $1 million a year.
Yeah. And I got to be honest with you. I went to school, never had a teacher look like any of those people. Ever. Ever. I think they came straight out of wherever they taught them back then and created them. And they came to us old and crusty and mean. Am I right?
They were manufactured that way.
They were. They were all Aunt B, but mean. Never.
Mean Aunt B's.
I think in my entire time going to school, I can't think of one teacher that I thought, that's nice.
I did in the 5th grade.
Yeah, Mrs. Price, she was kind of hot, but that's only because she was the first one under 100. She was in 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah, I wanted to marry my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Hodges, man. She was a humdinger.
Did you ever tell her that?
No.
That's why it couldn't happen, man. You got to let them know.
Yeah, I was a little too nervous.
Well, and today you can. You can totally let them know.
I gave her Valentine's, though, on Valentine's Day.
What'd you give her? A little rum?
A little card. Little card and a kiss.
Give her
a little chocolate kiss.
Give her some rum. Man, I look at teachers today and thought, nope, never even close. I went to school. It's I don't know if I just went to a place where it's okay, only the ugly teachers can go here. We had one teacher who, he was a model, and he married one of our students 3 or 4 years after she graduated. We know who you are, Mr. Sheldo. I'm just saying. That's what I heard. I know what happened. But it was afterwards. She was 18. Everybody settled down.
Yeah.
But we never had any of that. Even in my high school, I can't even think of it. I didn't even, we all had the same, teacher for PE, right? We all, she played softball, right? She was mean.
Yeah.
I just didn't wear a lot of makeup, did she?
Did not wear a lot of
kind of short hair.
Yeah, mine had a mullet.
I had one like that too.
Yeah. But she wore those.
She was my chemistry. I think she was chemistry teacher.
Yeah. It was so weird. Nowadays, though, my goodness me. Yeah, so I'd see why you turned to OnlyFans. If you look like that, it'd be hard not to. Look, if I look like Brad Pitt all the time and I had a chance to make $1 million a month or whatever some of these people make, that's hard to turn down. That is.
Send out, just send out some torso shots, stuff like that.
That's right. Look at me. Nowadays, I feel like, all right. I'm like, look, guys, the more money you spend, the more I'll clothe myself.
Yeah.
Just letting you guys know that. Coming up on the program, we got Matt coming up in a little while. We're going to talk a little bit about a new, it's newish here. They're doing it in Canada. I got to be honest with you. When I saw it, I was creeped out. The more I saw it, the more creeped out I got. And even though it may restore your eyesight, it's still creepy. It is very creepy. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to wrap it up as well because, again, we got Matt coming up in a little while. And tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Nashville Palace. Get yourself out there. You come hang out with me. Brian Wilson's going to be there. Matt's going to be there. Ken's going to be there. Joan's going to be there. Dan's going to be there. Chris is going to be there. We're all going to be there.
Is there any truth to the rumor that there's actually going to be a hugging booth where Dan is going to stand in line and let everybody that purchased a ticket hug him?
It's what I heard.
So that's not just a rumor. Okay.
We don't know, but you guys got to come out to see. Buy your tickets now. Go to 997WTN.com. Get your tickets. Come out tomorrow night. And with all of that going on, Trump, of course, is back in the White House. He's going to give his first speech, his big one, joint session. They're all coming together for the State of the Union, and we're going to have fun out there. So get out there tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Nashville Palace. Buy your tickets now, 997 WTN.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers in Williamson County got a crash. 65 southbound near 840. They did have 65 southbound completely shut down moments ago because of a car running up underneath a semi there. President Trump says today's semiconducting investment means tens of thousands of jobs in the U.S.
You're probably talking about 25,000 jobs, but it'll get bigger and bigger with time. Knowing this gentleman, it'll get bigger and bigger. There'll be no stopping him.
Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company announcing a $100 billion investment in the U.S. over the next 4 years. Tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China set to take effect tomorrow. The president in early February put on pause for a month a 25% tariff on all products coming into the U.S. from Canada and Mexico after Mexico said it would send National Guard troops to its northern border and Canada appointed a fentanyl czar. First Lady Melania Trump speaking on Capitol Hill today in support of the Take It Down Act, requiring technology platforms to remove reported sexually explicit content after receiving a valid request.
As First Lady, my commitment to the Be Best initiative underscores the importance of online safety. In an era where digital interactions are integral to daily life, it is imperative that we safeguard children from mean-spirited and hurtful online behavior.
The suspect in the deadly 4th of July parade mass shooting in Illinois pleading guilty today. Opening statements were to start in the trial, but Robert Cremo pleaded guilty. He was accused of killing 7 people and injuring dozens of others in that 2022 Highland Park July 4th parade shooting in Illinois. He's going to be sentenced next month, but since Illinois does not have the death penalty, he's likely to get life in prison without parole. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Raycon, best earbuds around. You will love your Raycons. I wear them every single day. They are the best earbuds. I mean, the fit, the feel, the comfort, second to none. Multi-connectivity, 8 hours talk time, 32 hours of battery life. Raycon has an amazing set of earbuds that just do the job and then some. And the thing I love about them is I have to wear mine sometimes for hours upon hours of end. And it is incredible the fact that multi-connectivity, so I can be connected to 2 devices once, but I don't feel them in my ears. They don't hurt. They've got active noise cancellation. And right now, you're going to get 20% off the everyday earbuds from Raycon. But check out everything they do at buyraycon.com/Chad. But these everyday earbuds, if you're like me and you love sound and you want the best sound quality around, they deliver time and time again. They're called the everyday earbuds from Raycon. Get yours now. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. I was just looking at the eagle. She was screaming a minute ago. She's like, wah! Get these babies out of these eggs. I got stuff to do. If you guys haven't checked, there's a bald eagle watch. So it is in Big Bear, right? So check it out. Go online, type in bald eagle, Big Bear. They take you right to the nest. Camera right there. 3 eggs getting ready to hatch. Mama's sitting on top of her right now. Looks, it's pretty cool. It's fun to watch. There's about like 50,000+ people watching it now. Mostly NOAA. That's what I heard. Hey, creepy. Yes. But we got to talk about it. Because if you have trouble seeing, could this be a fix?
Now it's time for the Chad Benson Show Health Watch, where we watch health, but we really don't participate, even though we should.
Absolutely, we should. All right, here we go, kids. Are you ready for this? Tooth eye.
So how do you guys feel about Thursday?
Brent Chapman is just days away from a surgery that could restore the vision he lost 2 decades ago.
I'm really excited to open another chapter of my life.
The 33-year-old massage therapist from North Vancouver has been blind since the age of 13 when a severe reaction to medication put him in a coma and damaged his corneas.
I think I've had 10 cornea transplants now in 20 years.
On Thursday, he's having another procedure at Mount St. Joseph Hospital in Vancouver that sounds like science fiction. It's called tooth and eye surgery.
Tooth and eye surgery. I want you guys to understand this. It's everything you think it is. They're not putting an eyeball in your tooth, in your mouth. They're putting a tooth in your eye. Yeah.
In essence, we are trying to really just replace a clear window on the front of the eye, and the tooth is the perfect structure to hold a focusing piece of plastic or a telescope for the patient to see through.
A pair of surgeons who have perfected this very unique procedure in Australia will remove one of Chapman's canine teeth and glue a lens inside that tooth.
After we do the harvesting of the tooth, we implant it into the cheek so it gathers a tissue lining, and 3 months' time we remove it from the pocket in the cheek and sew it onto the front of the eye.
If we are successful in the surgery, which we all hope we are, and the patient's retina and nerve at the back of their eye are healthy, then they can recover close to normal vision.
Close to normal. It is so weird because it's the canine tooth, and they've just drilled a hole through it and just put like a lens right on your tooth. It's going to be in your eye. You're going to have to brush your eye? No, you're not.
The Tooth and Eye Clinic at Mount St. Joseph Hospital is being funded by the St. Paul's Hospital Foundation. It's the first of its kind in Canada.
My job as a surgeon, I'm cutting jaws, breaking faces, moving them, reconstructing faces, but people have a hard time fathoming what that actually means. So to tell them that I'm putting a tooth in the front of the eye is just, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
While his vision should be restored, Chapman's eye will look very different.
You think? Yeah, like they've showed people that have had this done in Australia, and I'm going to be real here. I like creepy things, but it's a bit of a nightmare, is what it kind of looks like.
Can you look them up?
Yeah. It's like just all red, like those people who get their eyes tattooed, the whites of their eyes. It's just creepy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's and I hope you don't get gingivitis. What happened, Jim? Got gingivitis.
Have you been flossing your eyes?
Oh.
It won't look like a normal eye. It's covered with some buccal tissue from inside the cheek or the lip, and that will cover the whole structure. So the eye will look pink with a small dark circle in the middle.
You take function over appearance, and, it's just going to open up so many more doors for me.
For Chapman, it's a real chance at seeing the world the same way he did before his coma.
There's a lot of things, bucket list things I want to do once, I can see again. And it would mean the world to me, really.
Kathy just asked, would you do it? I think everybody would do it, right? Like if you had a chance to get your sight back and it was tooth eye, you'd do it. Of course, I think most people would. Some people may not. It really depends, because this guy's had, he's had numerous occasions where he's had sight, then he lost it again, then he got it back and he lost it again. And so this is the one they think is going to be the permanent one. And I'm sure over time they will come up with something that will be able to, I don't think you can put a contact on it now, but you'll be able to do that at some point in time. I just don't know, what it looks like, because it's all red. It looks like a devil eye. If you were to have a devil eye. Gingivitis. It's like it's wrong, but it's so weird. Like, who comes up with that? Like, who's sitting around going, hey, you know what, dude? I think I can fix your eyesight. You're like, tell me how. I'm going to take one of your canines out. I'm going to sew it into your cheek. You're like, you had me at what? You're going to do what? And then after a while, something's going to happen, and then we're going to be able to pop it into your eye with a little, kind of like, we're going to drill a hole through it and put a lens on it. And you should be good to go. Like, somebody thought, we got to try this.
And then long and hard on it.
Yeah. And then somebody went to, somebody at first and said, I think I could fix you. And you're like, I'm up for it. And they said, but we're going to have to take out your teeth.
Hopefully they'll replace the tooth while they're working on him.
What if you have no teeth? Well, there is a problem right there. I think you need your own teeth for this. Because I think it has to do with, I don't know if you need your own teeth. I don't know.
Don't chew with your eyes opened.
Oh,
that's terrible. Let's beat him up after the show, please.
That is absolutely. We got all kinds of jokes for these kids. I don't know. One person says, can't they just put a blinking glass eye? Well, no, the whole thing is they're putting it over your eye that's functioning. And it's supposed to grow around it, but it still is going to be red and
it'll look funky, but it's probably better than being blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nobody will ever want to be around you, but that's not the point.
And anytime you have technology like this that's developed, this is the very, very earliest stages.
Yes.
You take it 5 years down the road, it's going to be completely different the way they handle it.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, they're going to have opportunities in the future where even if it's something like this similar and it would leave red around your, the whites of your eye and stuff, they're going to be able to give you contacts that will mitigate the look. It's just weird now that, you've got a tooth in there. I wonder what it feels like. What's the feels like?
As soon as you see food, your eye starts blinking.
That's right. Oh, my eye's got a sweet tooth.
That was terrible.
Oh, my goodness me. Oh, Lord. Speaking of crazy, one of the funniest men in the history of politics, Jim, you simply know him as John Kennedy. Not JFK, just John Kennedy.
We're spending $500 million a year, $14.5 billion over time, to give to people at the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and NPR and NPS to participate in opinion journalism, which they're entitled to do. But they can't do it on the taxpayer dime.
But they have been. Now, he's going to get into, he's going to get into salaries here of some of the NPR hosts. And, yeah.
They're doing it on the taxpayer dime, but they shouldn't be able to. I would also point out, Mr. President, that the folks at PBS and NPR are doing pretty well for themselves. NPR just bought a $201 million office space just up the road from the Capitol. $200 million. It came from the American taxpayer, so they could publish this stuff.
Here we go.
NPR pays its hosts as much as $532,000 a year. Taxpayer money. It pays its chief diversity officer about $320,000 a year.
Yes, guys, if you're asking if I can whisper talk, for $532, I can. I'll whisper talk the hell out of it.
I can find $300,000 in savings immediately with that organization.
Bell, we could be working there right now.
All things considered.
I remember that.
We're not leftist enough to work there.
We're not. What's the
$300,000 a year
for the chief and
for the chief diversity,
but $500,000 for their anchors and stuff.
Wow.
All things considered, he's making $500,000 a year.
Oh, easy, yeah.
So what's that? Is that a game show? I've listened to very little of stuff.
All things considered?
Yeah.
No, that's it.
What's the game show one?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't listen to NPR.
No.
Because it's whisper talk, and I don't do whisper talk. As you guys know, I'm a bit loud. I do loud talk. Do we have that? Do we have loud talk?
Loud talk. How about some loud talk? We'll pay you $35 an hour.
It's like Matt's shirt from last week said. I'm not yelling. I just talk like this.
I just yes. So guys, welcome to Whisper Talk. I love, I've listened to it at times when you're the only thing you get in is a country station that plays no country music you've ever heard of. It's both country and Western with only Western. And, like, here's Bockar Smith. He was one of the greats of his time. And then you get NPR, and it's always the same. I'm joined today by a Native American lesbian, and then her name, and then it's like, and then the obligatory, they go through all of them, and then like the obligatory white woman that hates everybody.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's all Whisper Talk is. It's great. Coming up next is a cup of coffee in the morning, and it's going to be great. And it's crazy. You're paying $500,000 to who? Whom is making that cash? Who wants to know? Coming up. Speaking of somebody who makes $500,000. Wait, don't tell me. That is it. Thank you very much, person who sent me that $14.99. Wait, don't tell me. My guys were not sharp enough to come up with it. They don't have an eye for it. Oh, we just did it. Fantastic. Can you see what I'm saying? Thank you very much, Rick. We'll wrap it up straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Oh, my Lord. Flatbed Ford. You excited for tomorrow night?
I'm pleased.
Are you?
I'm excited.
It's going to be fun.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I need to come at this. Did I tell you that I was told that somebody told me that I look low key during our exchanges. I look like I don't want to be here, and I don't want to do that anymore.
No, I like it, man. We're both low key.
I know. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to ramp up for the show, so I need to be more animated with you.
I am low key as well.
Spend all your energy in the first opening moments.
I should kiss him on the top of his head. That's what I should do. I don't know. I don't think Chad would take that very well.
I'll be fine with that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not a weirdo.
I am excited about tomorrow night. We're in triple digits. That's good. We're safely away from buzz cut territory. That's also good.
That's good.
We're in the zone. I think we made a tactical error. I made a tactical error.
Okay.
I think I completely underestimated how much people love me. And trust me, I know people love me.
Tell me more.
I know it.
Tell me more.
So my strategy was, hey, I'll agree to get all my hair cut off if y'all will buy tickets.
Okay.
Right?
What?
I thought it was a good strategy.
That's a good strategy.
Folks will come out to watch me make a fool of myself and have some good food and good fellowship. But I think people love me so much, and they love my hair so much, that they're staying home because they don't want me
they don't
cut
want
my
to
hair
lose
off.
it. Maybe they think you're going to be like, you're going to show up, say, Wednesday, and then all your powers are going to be gone.
Maybe so.
Right?
Like Samson in the Bible?
Samson, yeah. Like Delilah is wooing you. All these people are the Delilahs who are showing up, and they're going to take away your powers, and you're going to come in on Wednesday. You're
I'm
I can't believe that.
It's like,
Darf, I get the Trump, Darf. No.
Biden won so bad. yeah, maybe.
That'd be great.
I don't know. All my intelligence is in my hair. Also, contrary to popular belief on Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis, we will not be handing out strands of hair for one reason. I don't need my DNA out there. I've done bad things in my life, and so we're not going to do any of that.
That would be hilarious. Caught you. He's the boxcar killer.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Mandis actually told me in a private conversation. That's why he said, 23andMe, no thanks. So he told me this. He told me this in a private conversation. I'm going to air it on a 100,000 watt radio station. Ready?
Okay.
He's like, that's because he was like, we could give out strands of hair. And I was like, I'm not giving out strands of my hair. DNA, man. He goes, that's funny. That's why I won't do 23andMe. I'm like, why is that, Dan? He goes, man, I lived a life. I was like, you lived a life?
Really?
Dan Mandis lived a life?
Well, if I love Dan, but
I mean, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe
what lies beneath. Let's just leave it there.
If he's lived the life, then you and I should be in prison.
Well, I mean, both of those things are true.
I joke, man, but I had games, so I didn't have to worry about that.
What do you mean? What do you mean you had game? What do you mean you had game?
I was young, played pro soccer in Europe. I had some game.
Well, I'm sure you did, but no, you're well beyond. How old are you?
54.
54. You're beyond the danger zone.
Yeah.
There was like a 5-year danger zone.
Yeah.
Matt Murphy between 20 and 25 played pretty loosey-goosey. You know what I'm saying?
With the rules.
With the rules, as they were. And so there was a zone there between 40 and 45 that you're...
Well, when I was younger, but I was so obsessed with soccer.
I think you're my daddy.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying?
Giggity.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. So you're gonna go do this tomorrow night. I'm excited. Do we know the level of which we're thinking?
So yeah, I mean, it's obviously we're going to lose some length on the back. We're going to go, we're going to make it look intentional. We're not going to lose a lot of the length. I don't think. I think we're going to. I like it like kind of longer on the top.
Yeah,
so we're gonna shape it up. I'm going to tell them to make it look nice and neat. You know.
Okay. Not high and tight, but nice and neat.
No, nice and neat. Just, get it feathered on the side, I guess.
Feathered on the side.
Maybe
I look like Farrah Fawcett.
You know what?
Can you make that happen?
I don't want to look like Farrah Fawcett, you jerk. I want to look like Barry Gibb.
Yes,
sir.
I
think Farrah Fawcett's more manly.
I want to look like, you know who Leif Garrett is? Leif was awesome.
Leif Garrett.
Before he killed somebody, but he was great.
Oh, no, he's good. His hair game was strong.
Oh, it was so strong.
I'm looking for some poofy 1970s Charlie's Angels type.
Oh, that'd be great.
You know what I'm saying?
That'd be phenomenal. You should go in and say, I want to look like Dorothy Hamill.
No, wasn't she the bowl cut girl?
Yeah. Who also looked just like this guy and his Bruce Jenner. They had the same haircut. Look what
they did have the
now
same.
They have the same
and now they
things.
have well, I don't know. I don't know what
Not
Bruce.
quite the same.
I don't know what Caitlin's doing down there. I don't know what Caitlin's packing, but yeah, I get it.
Think he's packing heat?
think Caitlin's packing heat. Yes, I do.
Oh,
but yes, it should be very exciting, and there's a lot of fun to be had. And the entire, I've been here 3 years now, 3 years plus now, and this is the most complete formation of the Super Talk team that I've ever experienced.
Yeah. And Dan's going to be there tomorrow because I heard Dan taps out early.
Well, he does. I mean, he taps out
to get up early
as soon as the
Bell.
Really, Bell. Really.
Time you think I get up, Bell?
Oh, yeah, that's a convenient little place to start playing the music, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Right when you're getting attacked.
That's right. A 23andMe
Let's
for
get
you.
Him. Yes, Dan will be there. I don't expect Dan will see more than 10 minutes of the speech.
Oh.
I think 8:10, maybe 8:15.
Then he slips out the back.
He's outie.
You guys got to get your hugs early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, hugs for Dan. Absolutely. Hugs for Mandis.
Kids,
I'll be the
tomorrow
first
night.
in line.
Get yourself your tickets, 997WTN.com. Matt, straight ahead. Chad Benson Show. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your Monday.